Hey, thanks for joining me. Let's just look at some more Liefeld brilliance. Just flipping through all my books. I've actually had this one for a while. I got it. Some people had sent me some comics in varying degrees. A couple different people over the couple of years that I've been doing this, and it's very kind of everyone that does that. Thank you so much. It's very helpful, and it's very much appreciated. And I've had this kind of sitting off to the side, and I'm like, I'll get to it eventually, I guess. Who cares? Fucking Brigade. Does anyone give a shit? But just recently, I did Blood Strike 25. And then I looked at this, and this is Brigade 25. And I was actually just noticing that this one was printed May of 94, and as was this one, May of 94. To their credit, I mean, that tells me that they've been publishing these books consistently on a monthly basis since they started. I mean, right? So that's something. So if you're a fan of these books, hopefully you were having a good time. So I figured, why not? Let's just flip it open. I don't have any of the books really leading up to this. I picked up a couple here and there when it first started, but I gave up real quick. There's nothing here. And I did see this Images of Tomorrow, and it's familiar, but I'm not exactly sure what that was. I think it was like a story set in the future of the continuity, and everything's kind of gone shitty and weird and not normal. I don't know how it played out. I was kind of surprised at that. So I was like, all right, well, let's see what's going on in here. Got a cover by Murat Michaels. It looks like Sabal's signature for inks. And that's fine. Look, in what world do you draw a big old male figure in spandex and then you think the right thing to do is hyper-emphasize his fucking nutsack? Like you put these little, it's like this giant like focus like right here on his dick. Like, why is that a thing? Like, I guess you could sit here and tell me anatomically it's accurate because there's kind of a bulge there. I don't come to Brigade to look at a bulge, if I can be for real with you. Or maybe I am. I just don't know it. Kind of a fine cover. It's nothing special. But kind of like that Blood Strike comic that I did. Oh, I was going to say, before I started doing either one of these, I was about to review Youngblood #4 with Cannibal Jungle Adventure Chapel here on the cover here. And I decided I got to have a lot more kind of opportunity to kind of read it and just gather my thoughts on how absolutely stupid this is. So we'll get to this probably this week. But I was... getting back to the original thing, when I was looking at this issue of Blood Strike, I was talking about the interesting artistic thing going on here where Liefeld did the breakdowns and Fraga does the finishes, and I did a whole video on it. And there was some interesting stuff going on for sure. There were also some not so interesting things like, close-up on the face. Close-up on the face. You all know what I'm talking about. But this one, I was like, all right, what's going on? Creator, story, Liefeld, sure. Writer, Eric Stevenson, sure. Layouts is Murat Michaels, which I'm like, how does Murat Michaels get the job of doing layouts for everyone else? Because these guys were all kids, and none of them were any good, really, but I guess they need somebody to help out some of the newer artists, and I honestly think that Murat, his layouts are kind of fine. I guess I can't really see anything really at fault with it. It gets the idea across. It tells the story. I'm not going to say, and I doubt he would say, that it's like, master storytelling or anything like that, but it works. But I'm just kind of curious why they want to give Murat Michaels the layouts gig. Because pencils are Anthony Winn, with inks by Marlo Alquizet. I think Marlo kind of is a pretty good inker. I feel like this is probably early work for him, but not for sure. But Anthony Winn, that is the name I wasn't expecting to see in here. And it's a name I want to see more of. I know his name. I'd seen it. I don't know if I knew back when I was younger, first getting these books, I don't know that I knew that he had, to my understanding, started at Extreme Studios. My understanding is that he got hired on and worked here at Extreme. And eventually he ended up zipping over to Top Cow and then did some work for Marvel. There's probably other stuff in between. I don't know his entire career. But I remember when you tell me Anthony Wynn's name, my first thought is I go to in my memory thinking how I remember that it's been forever, it's been some years, so I might have my information a little bit wrong, but he did some issues of Wolverine. And he did an almost flawless artistic mimicry of old school Silvestri. That's my memory of it. Like, it was so accurate to Silvestri's style when he drew Wolverine. I remember reading them, and again, it's been decades since I've seen them. I got to try and dig them up somewhere. I don't own them. I think one of my brothers does. But I thought it looked really good. Now, somebody could say, well, how good can it be if he's just doing a imitation of a better artist? Okay, all right, so there's an argument to be made for sure. But if you're going to be a new artist and you're going to mimic someone's style, who do you want to mimic? Rob Liefeld or Mark Silvestri? Like, there's no comparison. And so having that thought in my head, reading this book, I feel like here in 1994, I feel I can see the Silvestri influence on Anthony Wynn's work. Now, I don't know anything about him. I don't know that I've ever seen any interviews from him. I know that he got out of the comic business a while ago. I think he works in like animation or storyboards or something like that. I keep seeing his profile pop up on my like friend suggestions on Facebook, and I'm like, I would kind of like to friend the, I don't know him. I just move on. He'd probably embarrass myself. But I feel like I can see the Silvestri influence, and it's kind of hard to explain if you're not extremely familiar with some of the little nuances of what Silvestri's work looks like. And I may not be able to verbalize it, but just some kind of these paper garbage debris on the ground here, or kind of the way that the jacket is rendered here and the face and kind of the pose. I feel like Anthony Wynn is not aping Liefeld like everyone else is. I feel like he's probably looking at Silvestri, and what a way to go. You're going to be so much better trying to learn from that guy. The story, I kind of perused it. It's, again, I think it's some kind of alternate future because it's heroes fighting heroes and it's dramatic and people die and who cares. But we've got, it's Hiroshi Kuramoto. I'm like, who? And it says KO. I'm like, oh, he's expert marksman and skilled martial artist. Exactly how they describe him in, Brigade #1? He's running from somebody. And it's Battlestone. So we get a pretty good, I guess, all things considered, giant dramatic shot. You got the tilted angle to give it some drama. I don't know if I would have done the composition to put Battlestone's fucking nuts on top of our KO's guy's head here. But that's a way to exert dominance. Guys, if you ever want to dominate a situation, just drop your nuts on top of somebody's head. Watch the whole situation change real quick. But Battlestone's there. It's pretty well lit and pretty solid comic book anatomy. I mean, and I think the inking's pretty good for what's going on here. Like, it looks kind of cool. So KO thinks everything's okay, but then he gets grabbed by the throat. Here's another thing. Look at the kind of rendering on the expression on that face. There's so much more subtlety paid, the attention paid to that rendering of the eyes, the nose, the mouth. That's unlike anything that anybody else at Extreme Studios was doing. I just feel like there's a finesse to it that implies a greater artistic understanding for a young guy. I don't know how old he was at the time. I'm just going to guess, like everyone else, he's probably in his early 20s. But, like, there's something there. KO tries to get away, tries to kick up with his foot, and Battlestone's not having it, punches him, throws him down, punches him again, and snaps his neck. Again, this is kind of your standard early 90s Image Comics Extreme Studios stuff. It's guy with giant, ridiculous ponytail and big rendered muscles. But I look at this rendering and the way that the line work is kind of going. I'm sorry. I'm going to just preface this. I'm going to say it. You're probably going to hear me say a million damn times that looks like Silvestri. Not exact and not as good, but it looks like a guy trying to do that style, that rendering. And kudos. That would be the way to go. And like I said, Winn actually ends up going over to Top Cow. So clearly he's got the skills and the ability, because if Silvestri is going to say, sure, come on over, draw for me, he clearly sees that there's some talent there. And I kind of my understanding is that there were a couple of artists at Extreme Studios, and Anthony Winn probably was one of them, that weren't ass kissers to King Liefeld, and therefore they weren't favored, and maybe that's why they took off. I think there's some truth to that. And it's a shame, because Anthony Winn, he's one of the better artists, in my opinion. So, whatever. They kill KO, and then, so you got Battlestone here, and then some members of Youngblood. They're all together, and they're all evil, and not a single one of them has any irises in their eyes. That is a pretty damn solid shot of combat there. I like the face, the rendering on the metal textures, on the tank tread shoulder pad he's got there, and then like the bumper from a car over there he's got, and then the metal sheathing, the inking, and the rendering on the metal texture. It looks really good. Pretty solid figure on Cougar, Vogue, stupid fourth-rate, diehard, idiot douchebag version. And then this giant face. Again, I can see it, but it's kind of hard to explain. I see some similarities in the way the eyes and the nose and the mouth and kind of the cross-hatching shading on the double lighting here. This looks like Silvestri in his 90s image era. I can see it, and knowing and being very familiar with Silvestri's work, again, I feel the influence, and this one really kind of screams it to me in a way. It's certainly not screaming, aping Liefeld. So, pretty good shot of the group of heroes here. Like, there's some solid musculature in the shoulder there, the biceps, good hands, good claws, good arm hair. Like, it's all solid. And giving credit to Murat for the layout. I don't know how exacting Anthony Winn's following Murat's layouts and how detailed Murat's layouts were, but have to kind of give it credit. But Anthony Winn deserves a lot of credit. So, switch to another scene. We're in some kind of a laboratory. You got Thermal, the girl with heat powers, and some guy. I don't know if it says who. I also don't know if I care who it is. Just some guy. But again, there's, like, if you're really familiar with all these early Extreme Studios artists, they couldn't draw faces for shit. And then there's attention paid to some detail and shadows and on the rendering of the facial features on that guy. And even the girl's face looks really solid. And then again, the nice, fine, sharp inking going on. Like, this guy should have been over at Top Cow. If Anthony Winn would have had the opportunity to learn from Silvestri and work with those boys, he might have had I don't want to say a better career, implying he had a bad career. I don't know that. I just feel like it was kind of short, and he got out of it probably because there's easier and better money to be made doing art for, other industries besides comics. It's kind of a unfortunate kind of situation. It'd be neat to see him come back and see kind of what he does now. Whoever this fucking guy is, he gets zapped. That's a pretty energetic shot. That head is cranked back really far, almost like it got snapped. But he's probably dead, looks like it. Martin, whoever the fuck that is. And there's another pretty awesome shot of combat. Again, the metal textures going on, the musculature anatomy. Again, it's very comic book anatomy, and that's fine. I'm not saying it as a negative. The way that he's rendering all these like ab muscles and everything flowing into each other, the lighting on the arm, like, this is solid as hell. Combat here is kind of a dumb design, like most Liefeld characters. He's just wearing like a onesie little spandex outfit, and then you throw some shoulder gear on and maybe some metal sheathing and call it a costume design. But that's not bad. That's pretty solid. So combat, yeah, he's fighting Thermal. She's shooting her heat powers at him. It doesn't seem to be affecting him. They're talking about the character Cold Snap. The guy was like, I don't know, Iceman or whatever, and then at some point in the book, he turned into some big kind of like ice monster, and so they got him in a container, trying to microwave him or something and heat him up. I don't know, but he's awake, and through the container, he sees that Thermal's getting her ass kicked. Looks like Combat smacks her like a baseball bat. Pow, sends her flying. So, Thermal, you know, not a bad shot there. Pretty expressive hands, are a little skinny and gangly, but it works. Fighting back and forth. Again, that side shot of Combat and the side shot of her, it feels Top Cow. It feels Silvestri. This angry face, it's very similar. And this shot of Cold Snap busting out of the containment room that he's in, that is awesome. I've never seen this character drawn that cool. I've seen a few images of him, and none of them have been amazing. God, did I see him? Hold on. In stupid Youngblood number 4 here. I feel like I saw him pop up somewhere. Somewhere. Not that issue. But the heavy shadows and the jagged points to show like the icicle cold rigid body, again, the heavy shadows and everything, like that is awesome. That is fantastic. Really good. The only thing that kind of sucks is that this is a big, epic, awesome shot, and he instantly gets bitch slapped by Combat. Pow. And the rendering on Cold Snap is not as cool there as it is there. Now, maybe the heavy shadow is to kind of emphasize the character. I feel like they should have continued the heavy shadow style on every drawing of him. It makes him look way cooler. But he jumps out, gets bitch slapped immediately, so Cold Snap slugs him back. Again, back with the side profile, like screaming at each other's, in each other's faces, and then Cold Snap gets zapped from behind by somebody. That energy blast from behind is pretty solid. And then you got stupid fucking Robo Diehard. Robo Hard, we'll call him. Just an alternate version with big shoulder sheaths and red Robo underwear, and he's stupid, but he's a fucking dumb robot. I like that kind of face shot of Cold Snap there. Getting back to that heavy shadowed rendering with the light source makes him look really cool. And so Cold Snap bitch slaps Die Hard away and then goes back to working over Combat. So stupid Robo Hard punches his hands through the ground and pulls out some electrical wires, and I guess electrocutes Cold Snap, and it melts him and kills him, and he's dead. Is he wearing frozen underwear? I mean, I guess you don't want a big frozen ice dildo flapping in your face. Or I don't know, maybe I do. I mean, it'll make the comic more memorable, if nothing else. Great shot. Got super awesome, you know, Ice Cube abs and everything. Like, it's pretty solid. So I guess he's dead. And then we cut to the girls. Vogue fighting Lethal. Lethal. What the fuck? Lethal. Youngblood number 4. At the beginning, we have stupid Battlestone. And that's Lethal there. That girl and that girl are the same character. Anthony Winn, I find it incredibly unlikely that you're watching this video. That would be fantastic if you were. I'm going to tell you, I've got Youngblood number 4, brand new comic from Mr. Liefeld. Your art in this book is 1,000 times better than this fucking bullshit in this book right here. Everything in this thing sucks by comparison to what you did, Mr. Anthony Winn, in 1994. You're 1,000 times the artist he is. Great shot of the girls fighting, you know, long legs, kick, punch, fight, slap, kick, all pretty good. Vogue tossing the blades from her fingers and Lethal's deflecting them with their sword. That's cool. Hands not great, but the face is pretty good. I guess it's a giant foot. Kick, punch, slap, punch, fight, scissor. You know, everything we want to see girls do in a fight. Lethal's on the ground. She's trying to get away. So big close-up of her face. Again, that shot is solid. It's a terrible mask design, but Mr. Winn didn't come up with this. But I like the lips and the kind of, it might be overdone, but I still kind of like it. This kind of, all this line work to give it this cross-hatching and stuff like that. And the inks on it are really looking really solid. Like, this should have been a fucking Top Cow artist. Pretty damn solid. Whatever the hell's going on outside somewhere else. You got Seahawk and his firm-ass cheeks, and stupid Namor ripoff Roman and his firm-ass cheeks. This shot right here of the face, you could show me that out of context and ask me who the artist is, and I probably would have said Silvestri on a lazy Cyberforce day. And I would have bet money on that. And good. And like, if you could pull off Silvestri on a lazy day, you're on the right path. A solid shot of the stupid heroes charging into whatever the building is. Who cares? I don't get this stupid Namor outfit. Like, I get this, like a gold armor with some pointy elements to it to give it like a designy look. It kind of might look good straight on, but there's some times when you have to render that when the character's coming towards you or going away, and you have to like twist this armor around, and it gets hard to render. And there's a shot towards the end of this book that it makes that, it looks really obvious. Like, I don't know, he didn't kind of know what to do with it. But anyway, that being said, this is all kind of fine. It's fine. They're charging. It's cool. They go inside there. Oh, great. Cougar showed up. So he slashes Seahawk, and Seahawk bitch slaps him from behind. Meanwhile, stupid, dumb Namor Roman guy, he's going down some stairs, and he fails to notice that Battlestone is just right there sneaking up behind him. But yeah, this armor shit, like, it's trying to, like, just like muscle, you like molded onto his muscle armor, but then it gets little spiky parts. It's kind of stupid. I'm not saying that in, like, to rag on Anthony Winn. I was going to say he didn't come up with the design before. I don't know, maybe he did. Not a fan. Look at the face on him there, though. The expression's kind of weird for the scene, but the beard, the rendering on the facial features, the side lighting, the hair. Just the more I look at this, outside of the giant muscular anatomy that feels like 90s comics nonsense, there's little elements like that in the art that just make me go, this guy's got real talent buried inside, just screaming to come shooting out like a hot load all over the tits of artistic community everywhere. And I think eventually he gets there. Battlestone punches him in the back. I guess he plants his face into a fucking wall or something. Marat, that's kind of a bad layout. Don't give Anthony Winn that bullshit. Fight, punch, whatever. Punch. I guess stupid Namor gets knocked into the room where melted ice guy was. He's melted into a puddle of goo, and Thermal, she's dead. Again, that shot right there, it was open, screamy face. Really good. Kind of a tough angle to draw the body that way if you're not kind of used to it. And then look at that screamy face there. It's not bad at all. It's kind of unnecessarily over double lit and cross-hatched, but it's not bad. I like the little hand sticking up from Ice Guy who got exploded and melted. It's just like, it'd be fun if it was still moving. Like, it's just flipping off the bad guys. It's the last thing. It's all he's got left. Like, I can't fight you, but I can tell you to go fuck yourself. So Roman flies and punches Battlestone in the face. Again, not a bad drawing right there of him charging Yanis. It's kind of weird to have the same kind of screamy face side by side on facing pages, but whatever. This one's sad, this one's mad. Pretty good fists, energy. All right, it works. Who the hell is fighting who? Oh, I guess Seahawk lost his mask. He's still fighting Cougar. Roman punches Cougar away. They grab each other. They fly out of there. silhouette shot of all the bad guys chasing Seahawk and Roman. They fly, they get to the water, they dive into it. They're like, whatever, they ran away. We'll get them later. So have cool shot of them all standing there thinking about how awesome they all are. And then it just ends with Roman swimming under the water with Seahawk to go back to wherever the fuck is under the water. It's kind of an unfortunate ending splash page for all the hype that I give to Mr. Anthony Winn on the previous pages, and I mean it all. This kind of sucks. The foreshortening on this arm and like the shoulder, the bicep, tricep area, I feel like and it's because of this fucking stupid armor design. I feel like he was trying to he understands that this stuff is like molded to his form, but then there's spikes that come up out of it, and it looks really weird. Like, it's kind of hard to what is it actually doing? It's kind of fine, but considering all the cool stuff in the previous pages, this kind of forearm kind of sucks. And I bet I would have, if I had to imagine, I bet Anthony Winn would probably agree. Being an older, more experienced artist now, he probably looks at it and goes, yeah, that one didn't turn out quite the way I wanted. But and that's the end of the issue. No idea what happens. There's this not too bad kind of skinny panel hype for the next Youngblood book that was coming out. The blood is back. Can't wait. This was kind of interesting. It's got everyone, I guess, at the time who was working at Extreme. And you get to see some pictures of guys I've never seen before. There's Danny Miki, the inker. Never seen a picture of Kiko Taganashi, famous for his colors. I've seen Mr. Panosian before, always a handsome fella. Mark Pasella, I thought I'd seen his picture, and that is not what I remember. Handsome fella. Rando, Extreme Colors guys. Fraga, looking kind of like Eminem. That's badass. Jeff Matsuda. I don't know if I've ever seen a picture of him. Art T-Bear, awesome. Chap, awesome. And then there's the whole crew. I think, look, for all the shit I give Liefeld and these books from Extreme Studios, the one thing I can't deny is, for the most part, I would have to imagine it was probably pretty fun working here. At least for everybody. If you're with the in crowd and you were an ass kisser. Trying to... it's kind of a blurry picture anyway. But that's fun. I mean, there's Fraga. I don't know who Robert Hedden is. Cedric Nocon. He was way better than anyone ever gave him credit for. Or Anthony Winn. You heard me just talk about how good he is. Lots of good artists that come out of this. I'm just kind of surprised. I don't see Stinsman in here. Maybe this is before he joined up. But yeah, Marat, Panosian, T-Bear, Yap, Matsuda, Miki, Sabal, Alkiza, Hori, Stucker, Ratman, Platt. Some guy named Petty. Yeah, rough. Tim Townsend. Oh my God, what a fantastic inker. Todd Knock. Just a lot of people. It probably was pretty fun. Anyway, the point being, who cares about the story? Who cares about the characters? Anthony Winn. I firmly believe, again, you might look at this and not see what I'm seeing. Maybe you don't see the Silvestri influence. Maybe you do. And maybe you think I'm overhyping it, because I could see someone just dismissing this as just another kind of beginner artist that's not that awesome. And at the time, I would have kind of agreed. But looking at it now with a kind of a different mindset, I see a brilliant artist waiting to break free. And again, he gets to jump over to Top Cow and does some work for Marvel. And I don't know. It'd be kind of neat to see if he was drawing anything, what his artwork looks like now. I know a guy who works with Chap Yap, Mr. Team Youngblood guy, right there. And he's left comics behind, from what I understand. Chap doesn't it's not anything that interests him in the slightest anymore. That's kind of unfortunate. It'd be neat to, I bet if Chap came back and wanted to do a book, if that interested him and he wanted to put that time into it, I bet he'd kill it. I say the same thing. I know Mr. John Stinsman's talking about bringing back his Scarlet Crush series. He's working on that. Another old school Extreme Studios image artist. I bet you that has the potential to be very successful for him. All these artists that kind of had big books for a minute in these early 90 days, I bet that if they wanted to, they could find some more success and interest from people to see them come back and do some more awesome shit. Be like, oh my God, I love this guy's work. And here he is. I haven't seen him in 3 decades. Here he is again. So I don't know. You know, maybe we'll get lucky with some of them, and who knows, maybe some of them we won't see anything from. That's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Anthony Winn, I think that there's something there, and I want to find more of his stuff. Like I said, I've seen some of it, but I see a great artist here that not great yet, but I'm like, he's gonna be given the opportunity. Anyway, Brigade number 25, a little bit more interesting than I thought that it would be. So I don't know. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.